Hello. Sorry, I am having all sorts of internet issues here and I could not get on for the last 10 minutes. The joys of working from home and everybody else working from home. I will need to make sure that you can hear me and see me okay. So please, can't see if anyone is on yet. I'm just going to check in here to make sure. Oh, I can see some people on. Oh, great. Oh, Kathy, can you see and hear me? Can you let me know? That would be great. Just making sure that you can, because the internet decided to die. I was going to plug in, so now I'm on a dongle, which does scare me. So you might have to accept approval to comment on there. If not, I am just going to check, but I can jump into content quicker if I know you can hear me and see me. Oh, you can. Yeah. Sorry, Bonnie. I lost my internet and I was like, this is going to be problematic and nothing else is working. Oh, great. Thanks, Kathy, for letting me know there was a delay there. So good to see you both on here. I'm excited to get cooking with session 2. How did you like session 1? If you haven't gone to session 1 of the Launch Your Mastermind Challenge, definitely go back after this. We can go live here now, but definitely go back and make sure you have a look. It's in the unit section. I'll be putting every live session in the unit section at the top of the group. You can find that on your phone or on your laptop. It's at when you go to the group, it's at the top and it says, I'm just going to pull it up so I can show you. It says group units. Can you see there? It says units. So if you tap on that, you should always be able to see the replay. There was a cool homework thread there too, so that you can do some work on your own and start putting some of those ideas into action, maybe refining that message. It's all very well and good often to be thinking, I know who I want to go after, or what I want to share in my mastermind. But when the rubber meets the road and you've got to kind of write it down, sometimes it can be hard putting those words together or really defining what that transformation or even just a title or who you want to pinpoint, right? So we're going to be diving a little more into that today about building on the power of creating a mastermind, particularly in this environment, and why that extra layer of connection and value and customization is more important than ever. People want deep solutions right now. They're investing in confidence, whatever industry that is. You don't have to be in business growth or business coaching to bring together a collective of like-minded people all on the same journey for the same transformation. And that's really what a mastermind is about. And yesterday I talked specifically about how it becomes bigger than you as just some expert or guru. You become the guide, the nurturer, the leader, but it's about the collective of you curating a beautiful group of clients who will invest at a higher level to get that customization, get that support, get that confidence in what they're looking to achieve right now. So I want you to put aside being a princess of panic, which I'm seeing a lot of princesses of panic around. And I like to say, and look, it's not that we shouldn't be concerned. I'm not one of those people who says, hey, this is just, a worse version of the flu. I'm not one of those people. I totally honor where we're at in terms of this pandemic. And we're seeing it play out. The stats are there. I like to make data-driven decisions. Does it mean my heart doesn't hurt for places like Italy and Spain and seeing what's unfolding in the US? Absolutely. And if you're being impacted directly, your health or that of someone else due to this pandemic, my heart absolutely goes out to you right now. So I'm not one of those people who says, hey, don't worry about the pandemic, just go and sell. We can't be tone deaf, right? The market has changed. The psyche of everyone out there has changed because we will never be the same again when something like this happens. This is a massive shift, once in a lifetime shift. But it doesn't mean that commerce will end. it doesn't mean that you can't serve and you can't show up and serve. But we need to do that with heart. We need to do that with consciousness, and we need to, now more than ever, be able to share our expertise if we have the space, capacity, time, and health to do so, okay? And what I know for sure, and what I was saying yesterday, was that I've been running Mastermind since 2013, and I've really found it one of the most simplest, most powerful, most leveraged strategies out there. And you might ask, well, as opposed to what? Well, I mean, as opposed to all those complicated funnels, sequences, conversions, blah, blah. You know, I'm into traffic and conversion, don't get me wrong, and I'm into a great funnel too. But what I see time and time again is women coaches and consultants getting tripped up by the complexity of what's required. You have a great idea that you want to get out to the world and you want to show up and you want to serve. But once you layer on all the elements that you're supposed to put in place, it can leave you stop dead in your tracks, okay? And when some things don't work, it can leave you even more demoralized, right? So we talked a little bit about that yesterday, and about how creating a simple, value-led offer that really builds on community and connection now more than ever is so important for you to create and zero in on. That's right, I can't even speak today. And the beautiful part about this is that you can start where you are right now. You don't have to have a complicated online course. You don't have to have been in the market for years and years. And if you have, then let's just check in with what assets you already have that we can repackage and purpose and ensure that you're creating value. You're not just discounting what you have or giving everything away for free to try and create some momentum because you think people don't have money. Yes, some people are going to be impacted by the current economic environment. Some people will hold on to their money. Some people will retreat. Okay, that's what happens in a market under pressure. But that doesn't mean everybody's going to. And I would sit there and ask you first, can you really show up and serve everybody you could help, even if they all did say yes? And I'd say, probably not. I'm more of a fan of a boutique offering. You don't need a massive email list. You don't need a massive amount of clients to have a beautiful amount of recurring revenue that gives you the confidence and space to show up and absolutely serve and absolutely make that impact that you're here to do. So I wanted to mention that first and foremost. If you haven't got the workbook, you'll notice I have it printed out properly today. Yesterday, apparently some nozzle problem happened. Anyway, I got someone else to print it out because I cannot be bothered dealing with nozzle problems on my printer. You don't have to print it out, but there is quite a bit of guidelines and frameworks there for you to go through this week. I want you to be doing it in action. Like, let's face it, we're not going out unless we're going to the grocery store, and by golly, my grocery bill is going to be going up because I am surely buying lots of things to eat. And I see my kids coming down all the time, going into the kitchen. So we are at home now. Now is a time to step in and build, right? Do all those things that we didn't have time to do because you're in a rush and you're juggling everything. You're taking the kids here and there, or you're going out to do whatever it is you've got going on, right? We've stripped that away. So we have some more time to kind of dig into a bit more of this overall strategy rather than just sticking spaghetti up against the wall and hoping it's going to stick, right? Or being distracted by a million different tiny objects or shiny, not tiny, shiny objects, or different tactics that, you see and then you go off over here. In speaking with, some of my clients, what I have seen is that, this sort of princess of panic thing can happen where you feel overwhelmed by the fear and the uncertainty, and you go into that place of assuming that is exactly what's going to happen rather than staying in the data of your own situation. So I'm not saying that we shouldn't be concerned about COVID-19 and the health impacts on people, right? That is absolutely real. And the economic impacts that flow on from that. But what I think at the moment we need to be taking stock of is looking at what is exactly happening in to our clients, to our revenue, before we look at, but it's going to go away, right? Let's just stay in where it is now. What can we do to shore things up? What can we do to give people confidence? What can we do to consistently keep showing up? Because there were probably things that you had been putting off that now you probably don't want to put off anymore, that you want to get moving on. And I want to help you activate those. Whether you want to create a mastermind or not, I'm still here and I'm a resource to help answer your questions about how to get more clients, how to get more traffic, leads, and sales online. That is my expertise. I've been doing that for a decade. I've helped many clients attract more leads and sales online, create compelling, high converting offers. And that doesn't change in this market, right? We just need to double down and make sure that we have those in place, right? So if you've been putting yours off and you've been too stuck in consumption rather than conversion, I want to get you moving into conversion, even if it's not perfect, even if you don't know if it's going to work. Throughout this week, I'm going to be sharing with you free and paid opportunities. So even if you're worried about investing money, all I'm asking you to invest is time. If you've got the energy and the health and the capacity mentally to do it. If you are overwhelmed and you're tapped out and you can't even think how to get moving, then this isn't the right place for you. I want to make sure that you're okay, but I also want to give you something practical to be moving towards conversion rather than consumption, okay? Because you could sit here and watch the videos because you haven't got anything else to do or you're feeling a bit bored. And look, you'll still get some great value out of them, but I want to move you into action. I'm not charging you to come and get these strategies, to ask for my advice. I will give you specific advice. I will help you pivot if you need. I will give you examples of pricing or direction on pricing and offers. Whatever you need, you can ask. It doesn't cost a thing, right? All I ask in return is that you move into action and focus on conversion rather than on consumption. Okay, just consumption for consumption's sake. Look, it might, it's a bit like bubble gum for the brain. It might just kind of feel good at the time, but it doesn't really bring about any real change. And I'm dedicated and focused to helping you bring about change right now, because I think that that's where we can all show up and serve more powerfully. So workbook, homework's a bit of a shitty term. I don't really like it because who wants to do homework? No one. But taking action on each session is important to me too. So I want to see feedback. I only got one person typing in some of their homework, which was in... it was Daisha. I think you say your name, Daisha. I hope you are here too, Daisha, because we've got some messaging to talk about today as well. I wanted to give some practical examples for Daisha, who asked some questions yesterday about her message, that she wants to show up and do a mastermind. She's just not quite sure on her message and her message to market. And this is where I see people going wrong time and time again. And they're beating themselves up that things aren't converting, but it's not really their fault because the message to market is flawed in the first place. So I want to make sure that we iron that out for you, that you get on track with the right intersection of message to market. Oh, good. Daisha, do I say your name Daisha or is it Disha? Or I'm not sure. Anyway, hopefully you can help me with that. But thank you for diving in and doing the homework. I wanted to let you know you are the winner of Day 1 Chillpreneur book. I have got 4 of these to give away. So each day, please go in and post in the homework thread. I will post those out to you. So Daisha, I will message you, or if you can DM me or request to DM me on my profile, then I'll get your postal address. I know you're in Vietnam. You might have to wait a couple of months for that. Let's see. They're pretty efficient, so hopefully we can get it over there for you and it can give you some quarantine reading. This is a great book. Denise is one of my good friends, as a lot of you who've been on this group would know. And she did a bit of a book tour of this last year too, and I got to host one of her sessions. Disha. Okay, cool. Disha. Okay, it's Disha, but you like Daisha. Daisha is probably a very Aussie way of explaining that. Oh, hi, Diana. Hopefully you're in here as well. Yes, one of these every day. I did host her one of her book sessions in Melbourne for this as well, and got to really dive into the whole having a bit of a cruisier business. Now, that might seem like a strange concept right now, but it could be very much the time to be putting some of those elements in place. And her books are just a really great read. If you haven't read Get Rich Lucky Bitch, read that one too. It's a good one to sort of get your head straight about attracting in money too, particularly in times like this. Actually, I'm going to have a chat to her later today. I might see if I can get her to come in for a live in this group to get moving. Hi, Diana. Great to have you here. It's nice to see some of you rolling on and joining me live. Otherwise, it would feel a little bit lonely and boring. So it's great to have you here. If you are watching on replay, please just hashtag replay and still respond to some of the questions I'm asking or thoughts that come up or questions that you want to ask. Just pop them in. I'm more than happy to come back in and answer them. I'll be keeping an eye on everything. So this workshop is really here designed for you to tap back into strategy, designed for you to tap back into service, get out of the fear and panic, and let's just get into some action. And if that requires some pivoting, if that requires some shifting, then so be it. We can be nimble enough to do that. Okay, it doesn't mean you have to resurrect your whole business or repurpose it or whatever it is. You can still create great value and compelling offers and create an opportunity for recurring revenue, particularly with a mastermind offer. And the more clients that we are able to get to say yes to us over a time period, then the less we have to harvest and hustle each month. So we don't have to go into complicated strategies. A mastermind is a beautiful boutique group of like-minded people that create a collective for transformation rather than you having to do all the hard lifting of one-on-one or have the pressure to get big numbers that you would with a cheaper online course. So that's the real reason why I want you to think seriously about how you could be creating a powerful mastermind group coaching offer online. Doesn't need any in-person elements. We have the beautiful platform that is Facebook where you can connect with your clients. You can create that connection point first at no charge, right? So you can still deliver massive amounts of value and connection and adapt to where your market is by getting out there and trialing things consistently until you've landed on what works right now in this environment. But you're probably going to find it better if we can go into creating more of a solid message that starts converting as well. Now, sometimes we might need to pivot and adjust and optimize as we go with this. Sometimes we come straight out of the gate and go, okay, that's it. A couple of examples, I'm going to go into the framework that's in the workshop here when you go to session 2, but I also want to talk about a couple of practical examples because it's always a bit more interesting to hear how this works in action, okay? So, for example, a couple of my Mastermind Success Secrets clients in my program, when they've come to me, they've wanted to be getting more clients and more conversions and obviously more of a flow of sales. So the first thing we kind of really do look at is message to market and your marketing message. Like, well, how's that working? What's not working with it? And often the most common things I see are that we're too broad, that we're not really landing on a unique approach, blueprint, or success roadmap for that transformation that we're offering. So it may be too complex for your audience to understand. So you're creating like this invisible barrier for people to choose you. So in the last few workshops I've done of this, I've talked about this like a bit of radio frequency, right? So you're broadcasting, I know this is a bit old-fashioned, but you're broadcasting on the radio and you've got your message going out there, hopefully, because a lot of people are still even hiding in invisibility, right? And they're not even sharing what they've got out there and their value, right? But a lot of you are sharing it, but it's not landing. And what I suggest is that with the right message to market work, we're just dialing in the frequency so we can get out of the static and that your beautiful people can hear you clearly, crisply, and then they can take action because they can choose you because they understand your value. Right? And that connection can happen because we haven't just got our dial turned slightly to the left where all the static's happening and nobody can really feel, hear and see what it is you're saying, okay? Now, as I said, that can happen when you're too broad in terms of your offer, in that you're trying to encapsulate too many people or please too many people, or you've gone too complex, or there's not enough of your market there, right? There's just not enough of them out there. Or like yesterday, now more than ever, it's important to have people who have an urgent need for what it is you do. Okay, so there's an urgent need, there's an immediate problem that needs to be solved. So staying in the nice to haves makes it harder for people to invest, particularly in a market like this. We need to tune into where is an immediate need. Now, an immediate need may come up in different areas of our life. It might be in terms of relationships, it might be in terms of money, business growth, purpose. Right? There's still immediate needs in purpose that can happen. Absolutely. So when we're all purpose and power, I guess, together, those are kind of the broader needs. So often if you've been thinking, well, where do I want to kind of stand? Think about in terms of broader concepts like that first, like what area do I sit in? Do I sit in business executive coaching? Do I sit in health and wellbeing coaching? Do I sit in business coaching? They're probably the three bigger areas that would come up. So even if you just start there first, often what I see with a lot of women who come to me, they may say, well, I want to help women do X, Y, Z, or I want to help mums do, something quite broad, or get more confidence. Or a lot of clients over the years, like I've been running Facebook ad campaigns for since 2011, right, for clients. Done a few campaigns, and I do those still within my Mastermind Success Secrets program too. We get ads working and get it happening. Now, if I left the messaging of the ads up to a lot of my clients, I'm telling you now, no one would click on them because they're not interesting enough. It's not engaged enough. It's not zeroed in. It's too broad, right? So first thing, if great, I want to work with women, or I want to work with men, or I want to work with mums, or I want to work with career executives, not career executives, right? I want to work with executives, or I want to work with couples, or whatever it might be. Okay, in that, let's look at the area that of that coaching first. So what we want to do is start thinking: is it relationships? Is it health and wellbeing coaching? Is it business coaching? Is it executive career coaching? Let's start with, it generally falls into one of those three. Even personal development normally goes into the health and wellbeing. Okay. So once you at least know that, you go, okay, well, I'm not trying to cover all bases there, right? And then we want to be looking at, okay, great, let's think about what the situationally specific problem you're looking to solve for those people are. So Disha, I just want to check how to say it. Disha's probably a good example. Oh, I did get off track. Sorry, I wanted to talk about two of my other clients, how we looked at this and just did some small pivots here as well, that could just dial into the message just that little bit more. One was emotional eating psychologist. So a weight loss psychologist, for want of a better word, who was helping people overcome emotional eating, overcoming their sabotaging behaviors that were stopping them losing weight. Now that's still a pretty specific message. I'm sure you'd agree. It makes it clear to understand, okay, what you help someone do and who you help them, but not as much who. It's a bit more general, but the actual work that you do is kind of easy to understand. But what we wanted to do is go down another level there and really dial into her experience and where there were pockets of success in what she had been doing and working with clients. And even if you haven't started doing your offer, you can start thinking about zooming in an extra layer. It's kind of like if you've done Photoshop, there's all the layers where you put that on and bring it forward and bring it back and all that. So we want to think about layers. Going down an extra layer. So with this client, what we could do is think about, well, hang on, who was she mainly seeing that was struggling with emotional eating? Well, actually, she was also doing some in-clinic work with people who had had weight loss surgery. Now, these people who'd had weight loss surgery, their specific problem wasn't just overcoming their emotional eating. It became a bigger, more immediate problem that they had invested $10,000-$15,000 on having weight loss surgery, but could still, their emotional eating was still causing them to gain back weight that they had lost with the initial effects of the surgery, right? So they had an extra layer of urgency and immediacy that they needed to tend to, which was, I thought I had this problem solved. Now I feel like even more of a failure because I cannot get my emotional eating under control. Right, so then we could start working on a message to help people reverse, not people, see, it's easy to say people and men and women, help those women who had had weight loss surgery reverse their relapse or their regain and get back on track to their goal weight again and overcome emotional eating for good, right? So you see how that's slightly going in an extra layer. There's still women who are struggling with emotional eating, but that's a very specific subset of those. Sure, we want to make sure there's at least, say, 500 of these people in the world if we're going to go for it. It still seems very niche, which is a bit of the theme of today. But that's kind of the level that we want to go in on, because once we go down those layers, then the urgency and immediacy for needing to invest happens much easier. So we have more potential for conversion. Does that make sense, guys? Hopefully it does. Hang on, I'm just picking up my pen that I dropped. The other example that comes to mind is, these are both sort of in, well, it wasn't just weight loss. Kind of they are sort of in the weight loss space, I guess. I have a lot of clients who've been in the weight loss space because it's one of those big drivers. It's about physical appearance, how you look and confidence, and it's definitely something out there. So thanks, Diana. And yeah, Kathy, like a dog whistle, absolutely what I was talking about messaging before, and I've definitely used that analogy too. The other layer was one of my clients talks with, she's like a fitness and nutrition coach, helping women overcome, helping women over 40 overcome the impact of hormones on their strength and their weight, right? Now, that's nice and specific. You think, okay, well, I'm already landing there. But we had an opportunity to go another level there, because that dog whistle was kind of working for some people but not for others, because her approach is actually quite hardcore in terms of fitness, a lot of strength training, a lot of hardcore nutrition principles. Now, what she was doing is just with the, how to get over the impact of hormones and weight gain over 40, what she was attracting was a subset of women who actually don't like exercising. I think they might be called me, right? I'm 45. I like doing yoga. I go to that 9-round, well, when those things are open, they're not at the moment. I can do my yoga online. And then I did a bit of the 9-round, quick half-an-hour session boxing fitness. Now, even that, I don't even like that at all, right? And when I do it, the trainer comes up and he's like, and it's right, jab, jab, hook and all this. And I'm just like, I can't stand it. Right? I know I need to do some cardio though, and I know I feel better, and it was only half an hour, so I went, all right, that can work for me, but I am definitely not excited by doing exercise. So I could suggest to her, do you know what? I think we're looking for another subset. Oh, good on you, Diana. I think I should be doing them too. Squats while you're watching this. Love it. And I said to her, are you finding that the women who are investing in your program aren't getting results because they're not fired up about exercise, that they're not driven by that? And she said, yeah, because she loves exercising. And she's also been one of those women who's always been very fit, exercises all the time, and just found that the hormones started to it caused her to need a reboot in her strategy. She unlocked what that was and wanted to share it with a lot more people. The problem is she was sharing it with people who weren't even doing a baseline level of exercise. So they weren't getting the results because they couldn't really hear her frequency, because her frequency was up here about exercise and nutrition, and the people she was attracting were just on a baseline of weight loss, right? So there's a distinction there. So you see what I mean when we go down a layer? When I said to her, we really want the women who've been fit all their life, who have been working out, who care about looking fit and strong because they always have, but come 40, the belly fat has started to creep on, the same strategies aren't working, they're not feeling as strong anymore. That's a big deal to fit, healthy, attractive looking people, right? So we need women in this instance, right? So we need to find them. There's different languaging that goes to those people than there is with just general, hey, get over your hormones and get fit and strong. Because most of the women that she was attracting were not going to do what is required to have a six-pack, right? I'm definitely never going to have one of those. I've never had one, and I don't think I'm going to have one post-40. Or to me, I'm not willing to give up what I'd have to give up to do that. Like, it's just that motivation isn't there. So what happens is when we're not dialed in, when we haven't got that frequency, we're swimming upstream, right? Like, who's ever been whitewater rafting? I know I did this in Austria once. It was so cold. We fell out of the boat and it's like, oh my God. But you know, the power of the water when you're going down on the raft, it's just like, yeah, gosh, it's so fast. But you know, when someone falls out of the boat and you've got to stop the boat and try and get the person back in, it's like, oh my God, it's almost impossible just to keep it there because of the force of running the other way. So I see a lot of business owners doing that. Their message isn't dialed in and they're like basically swimming up the rapids. Like, no, we do not want to do that. This business is hard enough as it is. Like, the people who tell you it's easy and make passive income, it's not true. There is work that has to be done and a lot of that work can be done by changing your messaging and changing your strategy. So you don't have to keep trying different ad copy time and time again, wasting money on ads, hiring someone who lets you down. Sitting there for hours on end in tech hell. All of that stuff look, maybe the tech hell stuff never really goes away if you keep trying to do things yourself. But, you know, trying to get a message out and putting your weight behind weight was a bad pun after all those weight loss messaging things, but putting your efforts behind a message that is doomed to fail is just going to exasperate you more. It's just going to demoralize you more. And that is the last thing we want in this market, because you need to be more nimble. You need to be ahead of the pack right now. Now more than ever. Most of your competitors are going to retreat, right? So this is a beautiful opportunity. The amount of people who do want to go into poly panic mode and disappear right now, or press pause, or just go and binge the Tiger King. Do you notice that I am doing Tiger King themed things today with my leopards? I don't think I've got tiger print, but I've got a leopard print. Snow leopard. I'm going all Joe Exotic today. Quite frankly, it's really just because it's really comfortable to wear my caftan. But anyway, a lot of people will go and retreat and watch Tiger King, right? I did watch Tiger King on the weekend, but I'm also in the mode of serving my clients, making sure my message is dialed in. Because I've done this live workshop, Kathy, you've been here, and so have you, Bonnie, in the last workshop. I don't know if you've been in all three, but I know, Kathy, you have been in here. And you've seen, I've still done a workshop on teaching the Mastermind, but now I'm teaching it to show you how it's relevant to the market now, and how more than ever people are looking for connection and community, right? They want to dive in and they want to be seen, and they want powerful strategies and support and guidance at work. No longer is it going to serve them to just jump into an online course and you know, be one of the 300 students that have bought a $2,000 program that they never get to speak to the person who's created the program. So when I can serve in my mastermind, I can go and do the ads for people. I can say, hang on, let me edit that copy. Let's get the strategy right. Let's work through a framework. So I still have a success roadmap that gets people more traffic and conversion, confidence in their messaging, and the ability to create a program that they can welcome people into time and time again that gives them beautiful recurring revenue. So we still have that framework there, but I'm actually hands-on, answering questions, finding out what they need. I don't do one-on-one coaching sessions. I do when my clients first come in the program. I'm not doing one-on-one coaching, like filling up my days with sessions after session after session. We have a Facebook group and we have a group call, and people can get their laser coaching there and their one-on-one coaching every single week, right? So I've still got the leverage, they've still got the support, and we've got a powerful, valuable offer there that still works in this market, because now more than ever, you need to get your ducks in a row with your marketing and your messaging, okay? So hopefully that gives you a bit of an example. So with the messaging, Disha, I wanted to talk about yours. I'm not sure what you had been doing there, but when you popped in the homework thread, lucky you, being the only one who actually posted in there, so you win. Yeah, I wanted to. What I was asking you last night. Let's just give everyone else kind of the context. Where I said, I'm happy to brainstorm any of these, and if anyone else has got their messaging queries too, please dive in. You've said you've got some demographics there, right? You've got 32 to 51 years old, professional, content but not really happy. She's trying to get back her joy and peace. She's into and open to self-help, new age, and spiritual concepts for change. She's done courses in the past, but she's felt something was missing. She realizes now is her wake-up call, and she's figuring out if she wants to start a new business or make changes in her solopreneur status to become a business owner. Now, I'm not sure what the distinction. Solopreneur, I would have thought already owns a business or runs a business, or are you thinking more she's a contractor? And you said she really needs clarity, direction, and accountability for next steps to take in her business. So if we have a look at thinking about here what level, like I said before, I might not have said, but in the workbook, what I like you to list out is some potential opportunities for clients. You don't have to be committed to any of them, right? This is one potential of those, and this is in the business coaching space, okay? I would suggest if you're bringing up the business thing, if it's just personal development, then it would be in the health and wellbeing space. You've got a bit of an intersection of both here. So I would encourage you to kind of pick a horse and ride it. Like, what's the bigger problem? Is it uncovering her purpose and getting more confidence to take steps towards her purpose? Or is it establishing and growing a business so she can be resourceful, self-reliant, and make an impact in the world? Those are two of the bigger questions to start asking early on, so you can distinguish which type, which category she falls in, the broader category first, right? And you might have another couple of clients in there as well. But if you say she's professional, I would suggest it might look like she's almost like a career woman looking for a change into starting her own business from the outset there. And I wanted to sort of get you tied back into a little bit more immediacy, like what's urgent about that, what's her most urgent need, whether it's to start the business or to get on purpose, right? You've said it's wake up call about her life overall. She's a professional position but has been wanting to transition to having her own business and feels like now's time. So she wants to start a business. Her most urgent need, and now more than ever, is to start a business, right? So now you know her immediate need. She wants the step-by-step tools to get in and start her own business. That is what I would extrapolate out of that, okay? Yes, the nuance of who this woman is she's open to self-help and personal development. So she's actually action-oriented and wanting to take steps towards making a change. She's already made that decision. I want a business. I just don't know how. So we've got to get focused in connecting with her on, like, what does she need to know? She needs to know the steps to transition from her professional role to her own business, okay, in a nutshell. So that's the direction you'd be heading in to start clarifying, that message. So often I like to say, and I might have these here, we've got that niche or the message in that middle of the circle if you've got the workbook. One circle that overlaps is it's the intersection of the people you serve. So in this instance, it's professional career women looking to start their own business. The situationally specific problem you help them solve is give them a step-by-step guide to create a business and a life they love, right? Your special branded signature system. Now, this is the work that I dive into with my clients in Mastermind Success Secrets, where we understand the repeatable steps of what it is you do that create your success roadmap, that build on the promise of your transformation. Okay, so they're the steps that you know that everybody you work with have to take. But what I say in a mastermind is that we bring together the customization and the support to meet them where they're at and iron out any of the road bumps along the way for them specifically, okay? But overall, we have a blueprint for success that works for everyone. This is one of the hardest things to do, to work out on your own. But once you have those steps that everyone goes through to get results. Now, if you haven't worked with clients yet, but you've done it for yourself, right? Then that's where you look to those steps, is what did you do that you can teach others and that you can provide that extra layer of customization and support, okay? And when we know all three of these, then we have our marketing message, okay? Because what we do is we go, who are the people we help? In this instance, I help, professional career women, or you've said some of them are contractors, so I'm not sure whether they're like in corporate traditional type of business, but regardless, it's like I help, professional women looking for a change to start their own thriving business and live a life on purpose, right? We would probably add a bit more detail in depending on what we decided they needed to learn from the skills that you can share with them. But that's the kind of direction from what you've shared with me. Tell me a little bit more. You've got here, solopreneur, meaning she can't take a day off and still generate income. Okay, so she might already have a business, perhaps. I'm not sure there. You might want to, because I think they're two different. If they're employed or they're self-employed, there's a distinction there. I wouldn't try and cover both of those. Past, I track those women that do not have the funds to pay. Okay, I'm not sure which ones, whether that is the solopreneurs or the women who are already employed. So there you go. You've already got some clues there about the ones who have been more willing to pay. And also it's important to put in your marketing message, even if it's just for you, that they are willing to invest in themselves, that they're willing and ambitious to go after their goals, right? And they've got to see the immediate need. And in this instance, it might be that they can no longer rely on referrals if they are like a contractor, right? They can't rely on referrals or existing clients, because maybe that work's about to dry up, or maybe that's going to shrink, and we're not going to see the growth in new clients if she sits there and doesn't take control of her message and her strategy around her business, okay? Or she's employed and you've got to be looking at connecting with those women who can no longer stand being employed, right? They don't want to be going, they know they don't want to be just trotting off to work, making profit for somebody else, or having the uncertainty of being let go at any time. They want to take their destiny into their own hands, or perhaps they've been laid off, right? That might be a good market to start looking at in this kind of market, but it's still got to be aligned to where you are as well. Now, another thing that I wanted to point out when we're diving into our message is I've given you one example of laser focusing into a target market, like going several layers in to get a really nice tight niche. Sometimes you can have a broader market and a tighter message. Okay, so sometimes it might not be that we need to laser focus into the market. We could keep the market quite broad, which might be, women looking to start their own business. But what you share with them is tight in terms of, it is detailed in terms of your approach. It's a very unique system, or it is your own philosophy that stands out in a crowded marketplace. How can you disrupt what's going out there to still meet the gap? Right? So it might be a strategy for getting new clients that no one else is really using, or that might be a hybrid of other things. Like, I'm not the only one to share with people to create their own mastermind. There's other masterminds out there. The word is bandied around. But I'm sharing with the fact that I have always used this approach to get around crazy launches, complicated tactics, and the up and down of open and closed launch programs. I have this open all the time. It doesn't mean I don't have promotions and incentives and opportunities for people to join at one time, but it's always there, right? The mastermind is always open, but I create the message to get people to start moving now so they can start getting results now, because once they invest, they're going to get those results back, right? They're going to start moving, and in terms of getting momentum, that accountability, guidance and support that's missing from online courses, right? So I'm more sharing in a broader market, a more specific strategy. Does that land? Does that make sense? I hope it does. Disha, I have 3 different ideal clients. That might also be your issue. I would pick one. So you pick one, the one that you resonate with the most. So it's great that you've got the 3. You can always brainstorm and just see, okay, which one feels in flow to me? Which one have I had the best results with? Which one is still now in the current market? And go in that direction. Okay, so hopefully that helps you with that for sure, because I often find that when we're trying to mix too many things together, it's really hard to ride 2 horses at once, okay? That's an analogy to give you to go, like, that it's impossible. So you need to be able to start getting momentum in one. I'm not saying you can never serve the others, and I guarantee you will only get more clients the deeper you can get into the mindset of one key target audience, okay? And then what we do in Mastermind is we might then go to, let's get a webinar out to those people. It's so much easier to create webinars for your audience. And we're going to talk about that this week too, how to create your webinars, how to make sure they convert, how to get your lead generation absolutely pumping. The other thing is you're going to need all these different ads targeting different people with different messages in order to test what's working. And then because you're broadcasting to all of them, your frequency will be off, okay? So, okay, and there you go. You may have you've had the best result with, now isn't attracting those who can pay. Well, that might also be a tweak in your conversion events, right? If you can definitely believe that nobody can pay, and you can say hand on your heart right now, nobody can pay. I mean, I would say things like if I am an in-person coach for yoga studio owners, or not even that, like something, that's shut, that you can't actually go there, or the market has disappeared for, then I would totally understand. But women wanting to create their own business, I don't think has totally disappeared. Yes, some of the market might have shifted or shrunk, but it's finding those pockets of opportunity, and you can do that with your message. You can do that when we pinpoint the client. I think you've got it still too broad for now. So you want to pick a horse and ride it. And don't just also, I know we're in this market, right, where I'm saying find the pockets of opportunity. Don't mistake that with going after who you think can pay but you're not aligned with. Because when you do not love your clients, when you do not feel thrilled for their wins and excited about going on the journey with them, you will not get them great results. That being out of alignment will not work. Okay, so we've got to get in, plug in, and find how to find the lever for that market. It may not exist. I'm not saying it absolutely does. I'm just saying we might need to do more work there, but don't dismiss it, or don't put your own expectations of a market onto or your own expectations of the market and what it can do for you, or your own money fears onto a market, because I guarantee the money is just shifting around generally, right? Yes, there are people who've lost income and lost money. There's also people who save for a rainy day. I put money aside. I've got access to capital. I'm not panicking because I can last 6 months, right? And there's other women out there who are like that. There's women in corporate jobs. For example, one of my, and this is an example of one who is not right, and I said this to my energy healer. So she's not my client, she's my energy healer. But she said to me, I have a client who is normally on $900,000 a year. $200,000 of that is a bonus that she's been told she's not going to get. So now she's on $700,000 a year. My energy healer charges, I don't know, $250 an hour or something like that, right? And so this woman came to her after hearing she didn't have the bonus and said to her, can you halve your rates and then I can still come and see you? And it's like, well, hang on a minute. That's not the market you want to be. She's got the money, but it doesn't mean they're necessarily going to pay. They're not if coming from an expansive mindset, right? They're coming from a place of contraction. So we want to find those people who do have more of an expansive mindset, and no more than nothing more than having a compelling, high-converting message that really connects, that's visceral, that serves an immediate need, will enable people to invest and invest confidently. Investments still happen in recessions, okay? We've just got to find those pockets of opportunity. And how beautiful. We don't have to go and spend hundreds of thousands trying to investigate it, right? Like, we can do it really nimbly with tools like Facebook, with tools like webinars, with tools like just connected conversation, right? Your biggest investment in these strategies will be your time, not your money, right? And you'll start to see the margins come back. Like, one of my clients, she has a certification, health and wellbeing certification. It's $5,000. She sold 2 of those last week. One to a truck driver. So, you know, go figure. If you wanted to sit in the, people haven't got money right now space, she wouldn't have sold those two $5,000 programs. My other client in my mastermind who, offers beautiful surface pattern design, sold 4 of her programs last week, 4 $500 programs, right? If she was sitting in the, people don't have money, particularly to spend on learning surface pattern design, she doesn't position it for them to make money from learning surface pattern design. She positions it to actually learn the art and the skill of it. Right? So if you're going to buy into the current fear thinking, those things would be impossible right now, or you would miss those sales. So we've got to just make sure that we're making data-driven decisions and that we're making strategic decisions on our messaging and then our client attraction. That's what's going to make the difference right now. But buying into they don't have the money, I'm not having a go at you here, Disha, as well. Like, it happens a lot. It can be easy to feel that way because that's what's shown up in the past when you haven't dialed in your message, because, you know, people have still been attracted to you, and that's where it's like they've still come to you despite the fact you haven't really got your message sorted out. So imagine when you get that dialed in, how much better that's going to be and how much more in control you're going to be, where you're committed but unattached to who joins you, who invests in you. Right? When you can come from that place and be showing up to serve from that place and have opportunities for people to get your goodness without them having to invest, as well as investing at a deeper level, then you can grow and you can serve people and you can still show up and make a difference without playing into that fear and scarcity. Hopefully that lands for you. But I'm not sure. Feel free to pop in there too, Daisha, who my messaging for those I resonate with needs to shift. Yeah, I'm glad that landed for you. And happy, you were saying the ones who can't pay. Good. This has been an issue before. Yes, an issue before the pandemic. What I'm seeing, even in terms of how people are working with this pandemic or reacting, or the results they're getting in their life, is that often these are just a result of what wasn't working before. Even if you see, not in this industry, but, you know, I've got a friend who, you know, is employed and she's a bit of a slacker, right? And guess what? She lost her job first week before her employer probably even had any impact, right? Because it's an excuse for people to say, oh, well, this isn't working, this isn't right. So this was happening before, and you're definitely not making excuses, Daisha. You are here, you are seeking answers. I'm happy to guide you and give them to you as well. But you're here, you're showing up, you want to make a difference. So that's where, you know, the opportunity to change is. Now more than ever, we need to get those things dialed in, okay? So I do want to make sure, if you have the workbook as well, that you have those filled out in terms of day 2 focus 2. Let me just get those to ensure. A lot of people like filling in the workbook, so I know I kind of go all over the place. But what we're seeing is in here, the niche, that intersection of the circles here is the key to creating a mastermind message that converts. That's your key to conversion. It's easy to kind of get eyeballs in this market. It's not easy to get conversions in any market, right? Whether it was before, pre-pandemic, or during pandemic, or post-pandemic when we come out the other side. Conversion will still be critical, and your marketing message is at the heart of that conversion. I can show you other ways to make that happen and make that work, but conversion is absolutely everything. Okay, and Disha, absolutely. More people than ever are ready for what you have to offer. I know that too, and I believe in you. Absolutely. And any more questions, pop them in. Anyone else want to check in on theirs, I'm happy to come back to you as well. The first step is to identifying your niche, is to decide on your highest potential category of people to work with. That's kind of what we just sorted through with Deecha, that she still wanted to kind of reach out to 3 different segments, but let's find the highest potential one, okay? So then we identify the specific communities if you want to dial down and go that layer, a bit like what I was talking about with Georgie, emotional eating psychology versus post-weight loss surgery patients. You might want to go there, or you might want to keep it broad, and then we dial in the message a little bit more, okay? Land on, we're going to identify specific communities of potential clients. Third step is to then dive in and flesh out more to land on just one. We just want one. Like I said, pick a horse and ride it. It's really hard to ride 2 or 3 horses at once. I definitely don't want you to be doing that in a tighter marketplace. We want to claim that leadership position with your message. You still may need some work in fleshing out what your message looks like. If you want to jump on a call with me, you can just go to victoriagibson.com/call and book in one of those kind of course planning calls to sort your messaging out, and I can point you in the right direction. And then you can start seeing if there is what have I got on that one? There is then you can start testing. Why have I not put that on there? I'm going to have to put that in there. What my other thing there? I can't even work out my own worksheets. Bless. Anyway, hopefully that lands in terms of the messaging. I'm thinking of any other big message pivots that we've seen, make a really big difference. Time and time in different industries, sometimes it's just that 20-degree shift that can make all the difference, that can make someone stop their scroll on Facebook, that even if we can't quite work out the pocket of the market, let's then work to that repeatable system that you take them through to get them success, and find a way to package that that really, really stands out as well. So I want you to, just like we did with Deecha then, think about on your own, what are the 3 specific targets that you could serve, okay? So I'm not saying do serve all of them, but just sort of brainstorm those out, and the 3 biggest problems they're facing, so that you're not trying to go, well, I can help 3 different markets with the same problem, because there will be a nuance and a difference to the problem, okay? So try and get as specific as you can, so that when you can land on the specific problem you solve, you can write that there. The mastermind message, like I said, it's taking the people that you help overcome the biggest problem that they're facing, that's hopefully immediate, with your repeatable system. Like, what are the things that they need to know, and what will they get at the end of it? Even if you can start with those 4 sections and you can't quite alliterate it yet, just put those in and start brainstorming there to get a succinct statement or a mastermind message that we can really work towards, that we can build on, because the next steps after that, we want to think about what we're going to deliver so we can price it, right? Pricing is the big question always, but particularly in this market, it is the big question. So it is what I want to go through with you in session 3 tomorrow. So what I want you to do is post in session 2 homework thread. I'm about to pop it up, but it should be in here. I'm going to post the replay of this into the unit so that you can review that again if you need to. But please ask your questions about specific messaging. Just tell me what you got, if you want to validate it. Do you need to pivot? Ask me. I'm happy to help. If you want to go deeper, jump on a call with me. I have call time set aside for these workshops, where we can just map them out. They're no charge, where we can just work out, okay, where do you want to be positioned? Will your message work? And we go from there, okay? Sometimes it is about when we need to work out that repeatable signature system. That's something that we do in the Mastermind Success Secrets program, and we go into that detail so you can be rock solid in showing up with a message that works. And then we even go into the marketing, and I help you create your ads, your campaigns, your auto webinars, so that you have a tool that is bringing your leads and sales in every single day, okay? So hopefully that gives you a good starting point for your messaging or anything that comes up for you. So yesterday we were just talking about getting that foundation right, why a mastermind matters. And then the second point, now we want to make sure you do have that message to market so that you can start to have a compelling message that people can invest in at a higher value. So you need fewer clients to succeed in this market. All right, guys, great to see you. As always, my pleasure. I appreciate you, Deecha. I appreciate everyone rocking up and being here. I love having people on live. Please hashtag replay, ask any questions you like. I'm here for you to answer your questions and move you forward with your powerful mastermind offer. Okay, take care, everyone. Bye.